Number 10. Nick Young. In March, a secretly taped video from Lakers player D'Angelo Russell hit the internet, which showed Nick Young admitting to cheating on then-fiancée Iggy Azalea. He claimed that it was false, and she believed him, even going on the Ellen DeGeneres show shortly afterwards to assure everyone that things were good between them. But their relationship soon crumbled when Iggy caught Nick on a security camera bringing back girls into their home. He didn't even have the decency to go someplace else, although that would have been just as bad. She announced the split on Instagram. Quote, "Unfortunately, although I love Nick and have tried to rebuild my trust in him, it's become apparent in the last few weeks I am unable to." Nick, on the other hand, just simply tweeted the word single. To add insult to injury, it later came out that he was also expecting a baby with his ex-girlfriend Kiana Green, and the baby was definitely conceived while the former couple were still together. Number 9. Jesse James. Sandra Bullock and Jesse James married in 2005, and throughout the first few years of their marriage, they looked happier than ever as they attended red carpet events together. The host of Monster Garage supported his successful wife as she won countless awards thanks to her incredible talents as an actress. But it was soon uncovered that Jesse had been cheating on Sandra Bullock for a long time with multiple women, which led him to become, by his own admission, the most hated man in the world. He eventually checked into rehab for sex addiction, and Sandra swiftly filed for divorce in 2010. But the kicker is that he never showed any real remorse for cheating on her with countless women. In an interview 7 years later, he said that he had no regrets about the affair, and went on to say, quote, "Yeah, I did cheat on my wife. Yeah, I stood up and took accountability for it and apologized, and that's the end of the story." In general, both women and men cheat, it's a part of life. What an absolute Prince Charming. Number 8. Scott Disick. This decade-long romance was very well documented on Keeping Up with the Kardashians, and although fans loved Scott's quick-witted, snarky humor, it was obvious that he had trouble remaining committed to Kourtney. The pair eventually called things off for good after Scott went on a party binge just weeks after the birth of their third child together, and photos of him getting close with other women surfaced online. Pictures emerged of Scott and his ex-girlfriend Chloe Bartoli getting pretty cozy while on vacation. The two broke up after this incident but continued to have a rocky relationship. First, her sister Kim caught a girl hiding in Scott's bathroom in Dubai, and finally the eldest Kardashian invited Scott on a family vacation to Costa Rica. He ended up sneaking a girl into his hotel room, and while he was trying to reunite with his ex. The final incident is what prompted Kardashian to tell Scott they were never ever getting back together.
And at number 7, Ali Laundrie. While Mario Lopez was engaged to Ali Laundrie, he cheated on her, and their marriage ended only weeks after it began. The couple met in 1998 and dated for 6 years before getting married in 2004. But 2 weeks after the marriage, the pair got an annulment, and it was rumored that Lopez had cheated. Neither spoke about it for years until Lopez admitted that he did cheat on Laundrie, well at his bachelor party days before the wedding. He told Howard Stern, quote, "I figured at that point it was easier to ask for forgiveness. It's my bachelor party. We were going to have a good time. I was wrong for obviously lying, and I shouldn't have been in that position." He later admitted that he messed around with several women that weekend. The pair split and are now in other happy relationships.
Number 6. Jada Pinkett Smith. Although the Smiths themselves wouldn't call it cheating, the rest of the world was shocked when Azlina spoke about a relationship he had with Pinkett Smith during an interview in 2020. Quote, "I totally gave myself to that relationship for years of my life. I truly and really felt deeply in love and have a ton of love for her." He also revealed that Will Smith knew about it the whole time and had even given them his blessing. Though Jada initially denied the claims, she eventually confessed to being in an entanglement with August when she and her husband were separated. "We decided we were going to separate for a period of time, and you go figure out how to make yourself happy and I'll figure out how to make myself happy." They both went on the Red Table Talk together, and in a heartbreaking episode, Jada told Will how she came to be romantically involved with August, and how he made her feel special because of what was lacking in their relationship at the time. Will took the whole thing like a champ, but the clip went viral online because he looked like he was on the verge of tears the whole time Jada was talking. It was just an all-round shocking moment. Number 5. Ewan McGregor and Mary Elizabeth Winstead. The co-stars brought their on-screen romance into the real world after working together on the FX series Fargo. The pair appeared on season 3 of the anthology crime drama, which debuted in April of 2017. Only a month later, the actress announced on social media that she had split from her husband of 7 years, Riley Stearns. Following her separation, Winstead was spotted on a date, hooking up with McGregor in London, and cheating rumors were flying because although she was single, he was very much not. The train-spotting actor was still married to Eve Mavrakis at the time, with whom he shares 4 children. After the Emmy winner was spotted getting cozy with Winstead, fans began to wonder about the status of his marriage, but it wasn't until January of 2018 that his now ex-wife filed for divorce. But while the two managed to keep their romance relatively private, their relationship raised eyebrows even among their family members. In fact, in August of 2018, McGregor's daughter Clara had some strong feelings on the new relationship at the time. She took to Instagram to comment on a Mary Elizabeth Winstead fan page, quote, "Most beautiful and talented woman on earth? Oh man, y'all are delusional. This girl is a piece of trash." Wow. Number 4. Ryan Phillippe. The actor first met Reese Witherspoon while starring alongside her in the 1999 movie Cruel Intentions. They actually fell so in love with each other that they ended up getting married that same year. But all good things must come to an end, especially Hollywood romances. In 2008, Ryan started to get closer to his co-star, Australian actress Abbey Cornish, while they were filming Stop Loss. The two of them seemed to be so comfortable being seen in public together that they were eventually caught having dinner together in a Texas restaurant, despite the fact that there were some curtains around the table. They were also caught together again just outside of Ryan's apartment. The affair was so in your face it just wasn't funny. But it wasn't until Reese Witherspoon discovered intimate text messages back and forth that were being exchanged between the two of them on his phone. Then it was clear that after 7 years of marriage and 2 children, Reese was ready to call it quits with Ryan, and later went on to marry talent agent Jim Toth, whilst Ryan and Abby's love affair eventually lost its spark.
And at number 3, Cardi B. Cardi B and Offset are another celebrity couple that is constantly attracting cheating rumors. The worst was in 2017 when Offset was caught in bed with another woman in a video that went viral online. Cardi responded by saying this kind of thing happens to everyone and that she had no intention of leaving him. Then in 2018, the pair officially got married and then welcomed their first daughter, Culture. But their rocky relationship did not stop there. After more rumors of cheating, the pair split only a year after they got married. Cardi even filed for divorce. The woman that Offset was hooking up with at that time even apologized for her part in the mess. But eventually they got back together and just welcomed a second child together.
Number 2. Kevin Hart. This comedian and actor unfortunately has a long history of messing around behind his partner's backs and not really caring enough to hide the fact that he was doing so. I mean, the comedian even incorporated the story of cheating on his first wife into his 2013 special Let Me Explain. Even though he tried to make it seem as though the experience made him change and grow as a person, it wasn't long before the same scandal arose yet again. 4 years after the special aired, he publicly admitted to cheating on his second wife, Eniko Parish, while she was pregnant with his son. Now he is somehow using this new story in his new Netflix docuseries Kevin Hart Don't F It Up, where he has his wife talk about how she found him cheating. Quote, "How I found out was a DM. I don't know who it was, they sent me an edited video of Kevin and another woman." But she went on to say that she does believe in second chances and that she's all about forgiveness, and adding that 3 strikes and you're out, which everyone can agree is way more than fair. Number 1. Tristan Thompson. Buckle up because this one is pretty crazy. In 2018, photos of Tristan having an affair surfaced online while he was dating Khloe Kardashian. And get this, she was 9 months pregnant. Then if you thought that was bad, not long after, TMZ came out with a video footage dating back to October 2017 that showed the NBA player kissing 2 other random women at a club. But despite the fact that there was now hard evidence of Tristan cheating on Khloe without really attempting to hide it, they decided to stay together for the birth of their child. But things did not stay smooth forever, as in 2019 reports surfaced that Tristan had cheated on Khloe once again, this time with none other than Jordan Woods, who was a close friend of the family, Kylie Jenner's best friend and roommate. Anonymous party attendees told TMZ that the pair were all over each other and made out several times throughout the night. The explosive incident almost broke up the family entirely, and since then, Jordan and Kylie severed all ties to each other, and Khloe and Tristan called it quits for good. Number 10. Will Smith and Margot Robbie. In 2013, Star magazine published a bombshell allegation that Will Smith was caught cheating with his co-star Margot Robbie when they worked together on the movie Focus. The report actually claimed that in photo booth pictures that they found and published on their cover, Will appeared to be shirtless and Margot lifted up her own shirt to reveal her lingerie. The magazine also claimed that after they pulled the curtain back to take the pictures, they were getting very touchy-feely with each other in the dark. The scandal was massive at the time because Will is married to Jada Pinkett Smith, and back then they had yet to admit to having an open relationship. But the rumors soon died down as E! News revealed that the pictures were commissioned by a production and that the entire cast and crew saw them being taken. It also came out that Will and Margot are absolutely just friends and there was nothing else going on between them. Even Margot was quick to deny everything on Twitter. Quote, "There's absolutely no truth to the ridiculous rumor. It's disappointing that goofing around on set could be taken so out of context." Well, people do tend to jump to conclusions. Number 9. Dominic West and Lily James. The actors were at the height of scandal when they were photographed getting cozy in Rome, all while filming their new series The Pursuit of Love in 2020. The pictures show the stars kissing, sitting at a cafe, standing on the Spanish steps, and riding tandem on a scooter, looking very much to be on a date. Although Lily was single at the time, Dominic has been married to Catherine Fitzgerald for 10 years, and they have 4 children together. A source told The Sun that when Catherine saw the pictures, she was devastated and tried to get a hold of her husband, but he wasn't answering his phone. She was reportedly shocked by the whole thing because she didn't realize anything was going on. But only a few days later, there was a photo taken out the front of the couple's home with a note saying, "Our marriage is strong and we're very much still together. Thank you." Since the incident, James has kept quiet and cancelled various interviews to promote her latest film Rebecca, which is probably a good decision considering the fact that both parties have not yet publicly talked about their affair since it occurred. Number 8. Chad Michael Murray and Paris Hilton. In 2003, Chad Michael Murray and Sophia Bush fell in love while filming the TV series One Tree Hill. 2 years later, they were married. However, they separated just 5 months later when rumors swirled that Chad had cheated on his wife with Paris Hilton, his co-star on the film House of Wax. During the time he and Paris both worked on the horror film together, they reportedly had an affair, according to Backstreet Boy Nick Carter, who was dating Paris at the time. But after separating, Chad and Sophia still had to keep working together for another 3 years on One Tree Hill. If that's not awkward, I don't know what is. It wasn't until 2011 that the actor decided to rethink the way in which he was living his whole life. Quote, "When you're young and you're thrown into something that I was definitely not ready for, I'm human and I screw up." But his ex-wife definitely took the whole affair much harder, and it's clear that his actions really affected her in the long term. In 2017, she wrote in Cosmopolitan that the scandal was a massive event in her life and the trauma of it was amplified by how public it became. She has also said that she feels the marriage was a joke and it did nothing but reduce her to a Hollywood statistic. Ouch. Number 7. Kristen Stewart. The Twilight movies were some of the biggest successes of our time, and at the center of all the media frenzy surrounding the film was Robert Pattinson and Kristen Stewart, the 2 co-stars who began a relationship during filming. Fans were absolutely obsessed with the then it couple, but everything really changed when paparazzi pictures were leaked in 2012 of Stewart and Rupert Sanders making out. He was the director of Snow White and the Huntsman, which she also starred in. The shocking photos of Christian kissing another man circulated everywhere, and fans were rightfully heartbroken. I mean, literally everyone had an opinion, including Donald Trump for some reason. Sanders tried to do some serious damage control by calling the kiss a momentary lapse. Christian also had to publicly apologize to Robert, but it didn't really help because the two broke up soon after. And the two reconciled for a time but eventually broke up again. Safe to say that their relationship never really recovered. But several years later, in an interview, the actress insisted that it wasn't an actual affair, but because of the intense media scrutiny at the time, she didn't see the point in denying it. Number 6. Harrison Ford and Carrie Fisher. The actress and writer Carrie Fisher was never one to hold back when she had something to say, and in 2016 she shared a fascinating piece of history in her own memoir called The Princess Diarist. According to Carrie, she had a brief but very intense affair with her Star Wars co-star Harrison Ford while they were filming the movie in 1976. But what's really quite troubling is that People magazine reported that she was just 19 years old when the 3-month affair took place, while Harrison was 36 years old and married to his wife of 15 years, Mary Marquardt. To make matters worse, the couple also shared 2 kids together. In terms of sneaking around, Carrie actually said, quote, "It was Han and Leia during the week and Carrie and Harrison during the weekend." She also explained to The Guardian that the affair between them had eventually come down to unreciprocated love. She said that she'll always feel something for him. The Star Wars actress was so young at the time that they got together, and although she must have known it was wrong, it's hard to say that the blame rests completely on her. What's even sadder is that after Carrie died in 2016, Harrison never fully confessed to the affair, probably more out of shame for cheating on his wife.
In at number 5, Jamie Bergman. Bones actor David Boreanaz was exposed for cheating in the worst way possible. He actually had to come forward and admit to cheating because he was being extorted by the woman he had the affair with. Apparently multiple infidelities took place in the marriage, and at a certain point he had to own up to it. He told People, quote, "I just want to be open and honest, I was irresponsible. I was associated with a woman who I was involved with and had a relationship with. She asked for money, I felt as though I was being blackmailed or there was some sort of extortion." After he admitted to the cheating, the pair did not split up and worked to try and get their marriage back on track. The pair are still together to this day.
Number 4. Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman. Although it's been over for decades, Nicole Kidman's marriage to Tom Cruise is still one of Hollywood's most talked about relationships. Cruise met Nicole Kidman on the set of the movie Days of Thunder, and the pair were instantly smitten with one another, and they soon started engaging in a torrid love affair. But at the time of meeting, you guessed it, the Top Gun actor was still married to Mimi Rogers, whom he wed in 1987. As it became clear that the affair was more than just a simple fling, Tom divorced his first wife in February of 1990, and less than 1 year later, he exchanged vows with Nicole in December of 1990. They even adopted 2 children, Isabella Jane and Connor Anthony, and eventually went on to make 2 more movies together as a couple. But as we all know, their marriage was far from perfect, and they ended up splitting a decade later in 2001. Looking back on the divorce, Nicole said, quote, "It took me a very long time to heal. It was a shock to my system. We were in a bubble, just the 2 of us. We became very dependent on one another." Number 3. Leane Rimes. This affair was not exactly unique. In fact, it's a story so common in Hollywood that it borders on cliche. Actors Leane Rimes and Eddie Cibrian were co-stars who met on the set of a Lifetime movie called Northern Lights. They immediately hit it off and the flirting began. But the kicker was that they were both already married at the time to other people. But hey, in classic Hollywood fashion, they didn't let that stop them, and not long after meeting, they were photographed having dinner together, and the rumor mill did the rest. After extreme press coverage of the affair, both Leane and Eddie decided to make it official and separated from their respective spouses, all to be with each other. They eventually ended up tying the knot in 2011. But the story doesn't entirely end there, and a few years later, Eddie was caught cheating on Leane at Wendy Williams' 50th birthday party. But she claimed she's unfazed by the whole thing and does not seem to mind the fact that he flirts with other women. You know what they say, sometimes how you get them is how you lose them. Number 2. Morena Baccarin and Ben McKenzie. The Homeland actress furiously denied rumors that she had been cheating on her husband at the time, Austin Chick. But when she got pregnant by her Gotham co-star Ben McKenzie, there was very little she could do to cover it up. And just like that, the cheating rumors were confirmed. Although the actress tried to shut down the allegations, according to a TMZ report, the divorce papers filed in 2015 by Austin show that he claimed that he was still sharing a bed with Morena when she conceived Mackenzie's baby. She did get a happy ending though, and eventually gave birth to Mackenzie's daughter Frances in March of 2016, just 2 weeks before her divorce from Austin was finalized, and went on to marry Mackenzie in June the following year. But did she at least feel a little bad for sleeping with her co-star while she was married? Well, not really. In fact, she told People magazine that working with him on Gotham them was wonderful. Quote, "Ben's the sweetest. It's very nice to work with your significant other, especially when you're pregnant, because you know you'll get some extra TLC and get taken care of." I mean, yeah, I guess that sounds nice if you can ignore the question of how they met. Number 1. John Malkovich and Michelle Pfeiffer. The legendary actor John Malkovich caused intense scandal both on and off the screen when it came to filming 1998's Dangerous Liaisons with his co-star Michelle Pfeiffer. At the time, the actor had been married to actress Glenn Headley for 6 years, but that completely fell apart in the midst of his affair with Michelle. Interestingly enough, even the film's director, Stephen Frears, said, quote, "Dangerous Liaisons is about betrayal and lies and relationships unraveling. It was one of those times where reality and art intersect. It was overwhelming to John. Even for a man who delights in bad behavior, that was a difficult time. Not to mention the fact that John's older brother, Danny, told Entertainment Weekly in 1993 that when the actor came home with Michelle, that was the happiest that he had ever seen him. But even though John and his ex-wife got divorced in 1988, the affair didn't last long either, and they reportedly broke up not long after. But apparently Malkovich took the breakup very hard and reportedly cried for a whole year. The two of them must have really had something special, because he told The Guardian in 2008, quote, "It's hard to believe Michelle Pfeiffer ever said hello to me." I mean, if you can forget about the fact that he cheated on his wife, it's still romantic the way he talks about Michelle.
And at number 10, Nick Lachey. Jessica Simpson revealed in her recent memoir that she had an emotional affair with Johnny Knoxville while married to Nick Lachey. In the memoir titled Open Book, she spoke about how she felt the emotional cheating was worse than physical, writing, quote, "To me, an emotional affair was worse than a physical one." She added that since she waited till marriage to do the deed, she finally realized that the emotional part mattered much more than the physical, and apparently Johnny and her had a much stronger emotional connection than her and Nick, stating that it was more of a betrayal to have that connection than to sleep with him. And at number 9, Dennis Quaid. Meg Ryan has admitted to dating Russell Crowe while she was married to Dennis Quaid, but says that they were both unfaithful in the marriage. In 2000, Meg Ryan and Russell Crowe starred in the movie Proof of Life. Then photos of the pair getting close on set emerged, and cheating rumors started swirling. Meg Ryan and Dennis Quaid ended up divorcing, and Meg Ryan started officially dating Russell Crowe, although that relationship didn't last long and they split shortly after. Following the scandal, Meg Ryan told InStyle, quote, "What wasn't in the story was the reality of my marriage for 9 years. Dennis was not faithful to me for a long time, and that was very painful. I found out more about that once I was divorced." The drama with the love triangle ended up derailing Meg's career, as the public couldn't just see her as the girl next door anymore. And at number 8, Khloe Kardashian. Khloe Kardashian was actually on the last part of this list because sadly she's been cheated on a lot. During her marriage to Lamar Odom, the pair looked like a picture-perfect fairy tale, and Lamar treated Khloe like a queen on their TV show. But later it was exposed that Lamar had cheated on Khloe hundreds of times over their marriage. Lamar said that after he got with Khloe, hundreds of women came out of the woodwork and wanted to sleep with him, and he gave in to temptation. But he said that his one regret is cheating on Khloe. Quote, "If there's one thing I regret when I was married, it was having multiple affairs with different women. That wasn't the stand-up thing to do. I wish I could have kept it in my pants." The pair finalized their divorce in 2016, and the Kardashians supported him after his life-threatening OD.
Number 7, Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie. Jen and Brad got married in 2000 in a lavish Malibu wedding, and things were perfect for the Hollywood it couple until they suddenly announced their divorce in 2005. What happened exactly? Well, long story short is, Brad met Angelina for the first time on the set of Mr. and Mrs. Smith, and the rest is history. Apparently the movie was filled with so much romantic tension, it was impossible for the two stars not to fall for each other. I mean, Mr. and Mrs. Smith is probably the sexiest spy movie to ever exist, so it's easy to see how everything went down. But the problem was that Brad was still married to Jen. But he didn't let that stop him, and they allegedly still got together despite his marriage. To add insult to injury, he said about his marriage to Jen, quote, "I was trying to pretend the marriage was something that it wasn't. I'm satisfied with making true choices and finding the woman I love, Angie, and building a family that I love so much." That sounds pretty harsh, but it turned out that Brad and Angelina's relationship wasn't just a fling, and they actually went on to date for many years and had a large family before finally getting married in 2014. The love triangle was one of the biggest celebrity scandals of the early 2000s, and it still dominates the tabloids to this day. And at number 6, Nick Cokas. While Catherine McPhee was married to Nick Cokas, she was caught kissing her married Smash director, Michael Morris. So obviously that's incredibly messy. The pair ended up splitting because of the cheating, but in the end, Catherine says she doesn't have any regrets about the situation.
She told Ocean Drive magazine, quote, "I got married really young and then divorced, and in the last couple of years, I felt like, wow, this is what I should have been doing when I was 20 instead of planning a wedding." She added that she learned deeply from her choices and she is happy to have strong influences in her life who will force her to look at her failures. Catherine is now married to David Foster and they have a child together.
Number 5. Robin Thicke. 2013 was really not the greatest year for the Canadian-American singer. His hit song Blurred Lines was criticized for being what is now called lyrically problematic, not to mention his notorious performance with Miley Cyrus at the 2013 Video Music Awards, where she first started twerking. But what really hurt his relationship was when rumors began swirling about him possibly cheating on his wife of 9 years, Paula Patton. A photo surfaced of Robin with his hand on a woman's backside while they were attending a party. The trouble was that there was a mirror right behind him revealing exactly where his hand was, and it didn't look good. But instead of explaining his behavior, he said, quote, "My only comment about the so-called scandalous photo would be that my wife and I are perfectly in love and very happily married." He went on to call Paula his greatest love of the century and the most functional, dysfunctional marriage in Hollywood. Well, he might have got that last part right. Paula filed for divorce a year later and even filed a restraining order in 2017, alleging that he was physically and emotionally violent towards her.
And at number 4, Brittany Cartwright. If you guys watch Vanderpump Rules, then you know about this disastrous cheating scandal. While Brittany and Jax were dating, cheating rumors plagued the couple. It didn't help that Jax was a proven cheater at that point already. The cheating was officially confirmed in season 6 of the show, when Jax admitted to hooking up with one of their colleagues, Faith Stowers. Brittany wasn't sure whether to stay with Jax at that point, but she told Us in 2018, quote, "I see him every single day making efforts and he's completely changed the way he treats me, the way he talks to me, the way he listens to me. Every single thing about our relationship is better." The pair later got married in 2019 and are still together.
Number 3. Billy Crudup and Claire Danes. The massive scandal started in late 2003. Billy and his girlfriend of 8 years, Mary Louise Parker, who at the time was about 7 months pregnant with his son, broke up. The New York Post reported that the actor had moved on with his stage beauty co-star Claire Danes, who was only 24 at the time. In the summer of that year, the former co-stars had been spotted getting cozy all over New York City, and even had a very cute looking courtside date filled with PDA. But Billy wasn't the only cheater in that situation, as Claire also ended up breaking the heart of her longtime boyfriend Ben Lee to be with the actor. Their love affair didn't last long, however, and it's clear that all the heartbreak wasn't even worth it, because they ended up splitting up just 3 years later. Naturally, the ultra-private couple didn't discuss the reason behind their breakup, but the tabloids were happy to do so for them. Several magazines even claimed that Danes had left Billy for Hugh Dancy, but we'll never really know what happened. Years later, Claire said, quote, "I was just in love with him and needed to explore that. I was 24, I didn't quite know what those consequences would be."
And at number 2, Hillary Clinton. This was the scandal that rocked the political world and made everyone think differently of Bill Clinton. While Bill was in office, it was exposed that he had an affair with his White House intern Monica Lewinsky, who was 22 years old at the time. His political opponents took this opportunity and tried to get Bill to lie under oath so he would be impeached, and their scheme worked. When speaking about it at a televised conference, he famously said, quote, "I did not have sexual relations with that woman." But this lie then caused him to get charged with perjury and obstruction of justice. Bill was impeached due to this debacle and removed as president. Even though Hillary was the laughingstock at the time, she stood by Bill. Hillary said, quote, "It was really hard, it was painful, and I was so supported by my friends just rallied around." And finally, number 1, Scottie Pippen. Scottie Pippen divorced his wife Larsa Pippen in 2016 after 19 years of marriage because of allegations that she cheated. Apparently, multiple sources confirmed that she was hooking up with the rapper Future. One insider said at the time, quote, "He found out about Larsa and Future and couldn't handle it, although after briefly splitting, they actually got back together 4 months later." But then 2 years after that, Larsa was the one that filed for divorce again. I guess the pair weren't able to work it out and realized that they were better apart.